fall is already here in Silverton, Colorado, and our nights are dropping into the low 30s. So come along with me as I get our pod ready for a cozy fall evening. You gonna fall asleep standing there? Yeah. You already cozy? Yeah. I'm Michelle, that's Phoenix, and this tiny 20-foot RPod 194C is home. Life on the road looks a little different every day, and today we're inviting you to spend it with us. So while the sun is shining, let's start with some of the practical things that I do to keep the RPod cozy and safe. And that starts at our power pole, but it has very little to do with power, although I did have to plug something in. So all RVs have a city inlet on the outside that you hook your external hose up to. Now in the winter or cooler temps, we are going to drop down into the low 30s, but because it is a very wet temperature here, things actually freeze a little bit quicker, or at least seem to have like more of a frosty sheen. And so I want to keep my inlet safe. If you are a long-term subscriber, you will know I froze mine and flooded my camper, so we like to play it safe. Basically all a heated hose is it's a well-insulated hose with a little thin line that keeps it heated. You just plug it into a 110, and that just makes sure that the water that is going into your inlet is not frozen. It keeps it nice and open, and therefore you don't have any freezing issues like I had previously. So we've got her plugged in and we're nice and safe. The other thing that I like to do is make sure I always have an extra full propane tank. So I actually have two pretty much full ones on board right now, which is great. And the reason why that is really important, and something I didn't know, is one, at altitude, we are at 9,318 feet and we drop into colder temps. The actual propane gets thicker, and I've had a lot of problems with my cooktop if my tanks are below about 14% when it's cold. Now normally when it's warm and we are down at sea level, I can run my tanks to about 3%, but it's just better to be safe than sorry. So I always like to have a second one. I'm also an hour away from the nearest fill up. So, well, the nearest easy fill up. Silverton does have a fill up, it's just not open very often. So I took this with me to get groceries last night. We're nice and full. Speaking of heat, when I knew it was supposed to drop down into the low 30s, I went ahead and pulled my electric furnace, my little electric heater, out of the back of my truck, and learned the hard way that all of the dust from all of our various adventures didn't do it well, and it wouldn't turn on. So when I was in town yesterday, I went ahead and just grabbed this little 1500 watt heater. Because this RV is so small, this will be just fine if for some reason my heat goes out. I do also have a Mr. Buddy heater that is in the truck, but because I have power, it just makes sense that I would use a little electric heater to stay nice and warm. Again, this helps interior to keep all your, only when I record the trucks. I could survive overnight into the 30s. It's not like it's gonna be that bad, but this would help keep the pipes and things from freezing, water freezing, and just make life a hell of a lot more enjoyable. So I'm just gonna keep this in the RV because inevitably things always happen at night. So this way I wouldn't have to get out in the dark with the bear. There literally is a bear in this campground, and try to find this truck. So that is actually all I really have to do to keep the pod safe outside. My RPod is all season ready, so that means my tanks are safe. They're fully insulated and covered underneath. So those are things that I don't have to worry about. It's really important to know your rig and know what you would have to do to keep it safe in dipping temperatures. And the altitude. Altitude, remember, if you're in higher altitude, it impacts everything a little bit differently, a little bit harsher. So I always like to play it a little bit extra safe. But now that the outside is safe, it is time to make the inside cozy. It is like the weather knew that we were making this video today, and as soon as I came inside, it started raining. So cue the perfect cozy fall night in the pod, starting with hot cider. So this isn't gonna just be your normal hot cider. We have a beautiful cinnamon honey whiskey from Honeyville. And we're just gonna put a little dash in. Not trying to get crazy, just trying to spice her up. And now I think it is time to make this pod cozy. Cozy. So I had to go into town last night for Feeney's dog food and groceries, and I decided to do a little Target run to just pick up some bits and bobs that just screamed holidays. I really wanted the little ghosts, but they only had little pumpkins left. They're tiny, and obviously living in an RV, you need tiny things, so wait till you see where these little pumpkins go. I needed some additional dish towels, so I went ahead and got a more fall themed style. And now I usually use Pura air fresheners in my RV, but I am very out of them and in the middle of nowhere. So I went ahead and got just a good old Apple Airwick plug-in, just to help when you have the windows shut more often, the air just gets a little stale. Luckily, the daytime, I'm still able to open it, but I figured this will make it nice and cozy. And then behind you in the disco ball diffuser, I have some farm apple pumpkin essential oil now. So when that's on, she's giving us a show. All right, of course, the other thing, quintessential, is you have to have a fall candle. And I love this one. It's a pumpkin, guys. It looks like a pumpkin. It's velvet, so she's a little worse for the wear. Beans thought I just opened treats, so now I have to open treats. Got a little velvet pumpkin. So I'm gonna decorate this little area, and I will show you what it looks like when it's fallified. Whoever recommended, I don't remember, but one of you did, that I put a towel under my trash can. You have saved me so many scratches. Thank you. So I know it's little, I know it's not much, but when you live in a 20-foot space, you honestly don't need much to make it feel fallish, and that already made this little space feel extra special and cozy. And I actually had another candle, I totally forgot about it, that I bought from Sula, Montana. So we've got the apple maple bourbon too, which allows the pumpkin one to just be a little bit of a decoration for now. And of course, when I'm not filming, my lights can be very fall festive. We can do all sorts of spooky fall colors. I can go with the pumpkins. We've got all sorts of fun stuff that we can do with our lights, which, speaking of, I've got some really cool lights for one of the windows. Fingers crossed I have batteries, because I just realized I might have forgot batteries. Score, I had the right batteries. Okay, so I've got these, and they're going there. And since I had 2 strands, next up, this couch needs a little love. So this is actually a practical thing, but I went ahead with some cozy colors. So these pillowcases, because they are on here all the time, because Feeny also lays up here, they often need taken off to wash, and I can't always wash them depending on where we're at. The campground I'm currently at doesn't allow anything with like dog fur. I don't know how my clothes get away with it, but that's bedding and things like that to be washed in their machines. So these pillowcases desperately need a wash, and I don't really have a way to wash them. So I decided to go ahead and get replacement pillow covers so that I could just flip them out for when I'm in places like this. And because it's fall, you know your girl went cozy colors. So I actually have not looked at them to see if they fit. So fingers crossed. Of course, the raccoon is not being changed out, although he desperately needs some love. Mainly just the pillows that I use all the time. I think they'll fit. So, all right, time lapse to a couch change. All right, well, that kind of worked, kind of. So the blue ones that are actually, funny enough, Better Home and Gardens, like nicer pillows, they actually don't zip off. So without the ability to take the cover off, these did not fit, and I ripped the one kind of the downside of buying something very inexpensive off of Amazon. But the other ones look really good. They make it all warm and rich in here, and they're kind of the colors of my flooring or my carpet, which is nice. I did order a pumpkin cover for this one. When I say order, my parents visited me last weekend and they brought Amazon stuff and Feeney's food and things like that to me, because in Silverton I do not have access to mail. I do not have access to an Amazon box anywhere near me. And this was just something I wanted to do, and so there's a bunch of stuff on flash sale, so I went ahead and did it, and they brought it to me. But this one didn't make it on time. Luckily, I was actually able to cancel it because I saw it wasn't going to make it on time. So I do want like a pumpkin or something for that. But yeah, this is what I love though, because like now I just have this small pile. It'll go into dirty clothes for now, and then when they're clean, it can go below. And when these start to get a little Feeny smelly, me smelly, like I don't know, things hold scents, you know? And I like washing things, and this makes it easy to now have doubles. It also helps with the wear and tear a little bit. The covers that I'm sitting on also need washed. They were washed pretty recently. I only sit on this side. Usually there's a blanket on this side, so these aren't too bad. But when I do go home for the winter, I am getting a custom cushion made, and I will really like that, so I don't have fabric on here. But the sun is back out because this is typical Colorado fall weather. Rainy, sunny, but that's not going to stop us from making the rest of this place cozy, because the bed is next. It is clean sheet day, and I got a special surprise for Fiends and I. With those temperatures dipping low at night, yes, I have heat, yes, I have a backup little mini heater, but there is nothing like the cozy combo of a cozy warm bed and sleeping cold. So typically at night, my furnace is set from anywhere to 55 to 57. It is a rare occasion that it goes above that for sleep. During the day, it maybe goes up to 62 or 63. This is a very small rig. It feels a lot warmer, but that doesn't mean I don't want a cozy bed. And right now, all of my sheets are cooling sheets because I sleep hot. So that thing that I ordered, my parents, flannel sheets, baby. And yes, they're white. Yes, this is a horrible decision, but it was either white or black, and I did not like the idea of black, at least in the terms of like the ones that I could get on time. So we have cozy, oh my gosh, they're so lovely, cozy flannel sheets. And then I also went ahead and ordered an additional duvet. I love these bedsure duvets. They pack up super small. I now have 3 on board. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I am a person who really likes clean sheets. And when you live with him and you live outside, sheets get dirtier a lot quicker. And again, I don't always have access to washing, or it's just a pain in the ass to wash sometimes in campgrounds. This particular campground is $5 a load, so we don't really do laundry here. But now, but now I'm gonna do an outfit change because I'm going to sweat doing this, and we are going to put on cozy flannel sheets and a fresh new duvet. And then I tried to get Fiends a replacement of Boo. This thing is like velvet and shiny, but he kind of goes with our bedding, so yeah, I don't know how long this is going to last being licked and cuddled, right, Boo? See, that's why he needs a Boo. Boo for the Boo. All right, outfit change and my least favorite chore with my most favorite outcomes. Changing bed. What am I doing? Is this exhausting, Prince? Huh? Exhausted? Seriously, you are making this much more difficult than it has to be. But that's okay. You're worth it. The sheets are so good, he's already fallen asleep. Bruh. Am I just making the bed around you? Yes. Yes, I am. I swear this dog is insane. I'm just gonna make the bed. Oh, now he moves. I'm gonna make the bed right around him. I think I'm gonna do 2 fleece pillowcases and 2 of the pillowcases that came with the duvet cover. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am pretty sure Fiends finds the new bedding a 10. Yes, he pulled out to make sure he got on the flannel pillows because, you know, why wouldn't he lay on anything else or his 1,000 stuffies? But I think it was a success. I cannot wait to crawl into flannel sheets tonight. But now I've got to clean up this pod, get things reorganized from our cozy setup, but we are not done. I have a whole cozy little dinner with a special treat planned for tonight, so we'll catch you guys in probably just a little bit because I'm hungry. So I do feel like I'm cheating a little bit because this is such an easy dinner, but to me, on a chilly, rainy, sprinkly evening, there's nothing better than grilled cheese and tomato soup. My grilled cheese today is incredibly simple. I'm just doing stuff that I had on board because I just didn't want to buy stuff that was just for one grilled cheese sandwich. So I just have I love the Sara Lee Delight bread. I've got good old, I can't believe it's not butter. This is the garlic version and oh my gosh, is it garlicky. And then just I had some leftover shredded cheddar from having my parents in town last week. So that's gonna be what makes the grilled cheese. Usually I like to get a little fancier and have sliced cheese, like I love Tillamook cheese, and you know, then shredded too. Sometimes I'll put bacon, sometimes tomatoes, but we're just keeping it super simple. And with that, we're also keeping the soup in stupidly simple. So I'm gonna tell you how I make my tomato soup usually because I'm kind of known for it and it's a game changer. And it's very simple, but this is what I did today. Walmart had their creamy tomato bisque and it just sounded easy and good, and one ingredient, it was $2.50, versus what I normally do is just Campbell tomato soup into half and half. And you use the half and half like you would use the water. You can put some fresh basil in it, whatever else you want to do, but just even that half and half, chef's kiss, game changer. We'll see how this one is. I can't even say I was being lazy because my way is lazy, but I'm going to make my grilled cheese and tomato soup. Finally finished my cider. It's been going for a while. I'm pretty hungry. And I'm not dirtying a pot and a pan. Are you silly? Well, that was the world's quickest dinner. I've got my cup of soup. I don't know if anybody else does this. This is like a very family thing. I don't actually, my parents have like really cute soup mugs. I don't, so I just have my cup of soup, my grilled cheese. I'm gonna grab some crackers too. And this is what is for dinner, but this isn't the fancy, cozy, special treat. That comes a little bit later after I've eaten this, probably after I shower. And spoiler alert, if you've been a really long time subscriber, you will know what we're making and you're gonna know the story that goes behind it, but it is my favorite fall treat for camping, cozy vibe night. So, bon appetit, see you later. It's officially time to bring home our cozy evening with a cozy snack. I have been jonesing for this. So apples in Arizona are horrendous, but there's a little fruit stand here that has amazing apples. So I thought it was time to bring back apple nachos. First, you just take your apple and you don't slice it like normal. You kind of slice it like an idiot. I also need some new knives. Just this one. I use it a lot. This is where we're going to deviate a little bit because I have found this is easier. And if you want to have them a few times and you want to, you know, keep it a little bit lighter, instead of melting down caramels, the Torani caramel sauce is excellent. You can warm it up if you want. You can just squirt it right on. And it has a dual purpose because it also works for coffees. So if you want to do like a caramel pumpkin spice latte, you can do that. Just easier to keep on rig, but this also works really well if you melt down some just regular craft caramels. Here's my little tip, I like to put a little coconut creamer in it. It thins it out and gives it like an extra little boost. It's so good. But we're just gonna do some caramel sauce. Ooh. There, now we got that thick, there we go. Caramel sauce. And then toppings of your choice. I like mini M&Ms and peanuts, of course. Now the funny story that goes along with these nachos is this is on a beautiful, nice plate. Years ago, I was doing a Halloween camping at the Grand Canyon, and I made them, and I tried to make it super fun with like dips and things, but it was hailing that night, so I had to get in the back of the Subaru. We were car camping at the time, and right when I got in, Feeny stepped on the plate, flung everything everywhere, all through the bed. We had caramel, we had M&Ms, we had peanuts, we had sprinkles, all in the bed. It was a disaster. And I've actually not made them on camera since. I've made them plenty of times in the background because like these are great for a group. You could cut a whole bunch, and you could do a whole bunch of like dippers and toppings. But this is quintessential cozy fall for me, is some sort of caramel apple, and this is just a fun way to eat them. I have my caramel apple nachos. Fiends as his boo. We're gonna settle in with a TV show. Tony and Ziva from NCIS, they have their new show now, and I always thought they deserved their love story, so I'm excited they're finally getting it. But we will pick back up in just a few because I have one more thing that I have added back into cozy pod life now that it's getting a little bit darker, nights are slowing down, and we're spending more time inside.
Your secret to keep the passion.
We watched an episode of Tony and Ziva, such a good show, but now I'm going to do something that I was really looking forward to getting back to, and now that it is darker earlier and I'm spending more chill evenings in the pod, it's a perfect time to pick back up. So for years, I was a journaler. Almost every day, but really specifically every day when I traveled, did adventures, and I literally have books at home. I journaled every single day of our teardrop trip last year, and for some reason, when I moved into the pod, I got out of the habit. And journaling for me, I am not a person who connects with my deeper emotions really easily. My natural state, like my general state, is positive and happy. I think that comes from I have been through some really hard things, and my life right now is so beautiful that like my just natural default is just gratitude and happy and joy. But that doesn't mean that I still don't have feelings and need to process some things. And I'm very, very bad at compartmentalizing, and I'm not good at verbalizing. But I've always been very good at writing. So normally I like a cute little journal, but you know, I'm in a small town. 5-star notebook's what we got. So I bought myself a 5-star notebook to get back to journaling and back to just capturing all of the little things as Feeny lays in bed and just looks at me so cuddly. And I'm really excited. Last year I really struggled because we moved into the RV in January, and so I struggled a lot with the darkness. It was dark when I woke up. It was dark right after work, it felt like. But this year it's actually kind of funny because after a year of living in an RV, something about RV life is like you take advantage of the weather, like you utilize the weather. And I feel like Fiends and I have just been going like nonstop, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to a little bit of that forced relaxation and forced doing different things. And so it's going to help me to get back to journaling. I am in the process of writing a book. I don't know if it's something that I will ever publish or put out there, but it's stories that I want to tell and capture. They have to do with just our adventures and our lives and kind of how I've grown through those really bad things. And so I feel like journaling is just going to help me get that spark back, and that vibe back, and just get back into the flow. So I'm very excited for it, and I think there's nothing better than a cozy pod with lights and just a cozy, comfy couch to journal on. So that is how I'm going to finish my evening before we head to bed. But that is how, y'all, I not only got the pod cozy and safe for 30-degree weather, but how I'm embracing the cooler temps and the earlier, darker nights. And honestly, we're really looking forward to this cozy season while we're in Silverton. We will dip out of it again, and then we'll get it back once Arizona gets fall. So I just get like fall twice, which is kind of awesome. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out and seeing how we prep the pod and turning it into a cozy space. And y'all, we will see you on the next adventure, wherever this cozy little RPod takes us.